In the early 1970s, Jamaicans fused the ethos of the oppressed with rhythms of Africa to produce a healing force named reggae. By the end of the century, reggae had traveled the world, and the reggae anthem One Love was declared the song of the millennium. Yet, today's portrayal of reggae says we still have work to do, and the coalition to preserve reggae music continues on its trad to raise the bar in reggae music and increase its healing around the world. Well, we, Ja people, can make it work if we come together and keep it real. Really, really real. There's idle chatter and there's real talk. This is Real Talk. Greetings and welcome to the final edition of Real Talk for the year 2022. What a year it's been. Or maybe I should ask, what has the year been like for you? If you want to share your thoughts about the year and what it's been like for you, then feel free to drop a note in the chat and we can talk about it. As Safi says, there's more to being black than just talking about it. But it's okay. We can talk about it. It certainly is something we can talk about. There is so much. And I felt like we could just chill out and have a year-end party this evening. And then we got hit with so much bad news that for a minute, I thought it was going to be gloom and doom this evening. But you know what? No siree, no gloom and doom around here. We're going to celebrate some lives this evening. But we're going to start first with some music from Etana. It's called Emancipation.
Wake up and remember the fight of King Selassie I. Marcus Garvey said a long time, of your might to race, accomplish what you will. Emancipation. My people, you are strong. Liberation. Liberate the mind. Rejuvenation. For us. Chance has never yet satisfied the hope of our suffering people at all. You are not my brother. I am not your sister, but we have got to be soldiers in the same battlefield to achieve true liberty. Liberate the minds of men, ultimately liberating the bodies of men. Hey. Emancipation. This is our revolution. Liberate. Rejuvenation. For us. New generation. New generation. New generation. New generation. How long will the rich get rich off the children's backs, sweat, blood and tears? Them a do it fear. Hear the children call, them a ball. A nation without education can't box the white swan. This is serious, it's rough to see some a wipe, some a shine, some a kill, some in a broad daylight. The temple of the Most High begins with a body which houses our life, the very essence of our existence. Where is your respect for life?
Where is your respect for life?
Love with true intention. Build a better nation. Tell the youth the truth. For us. Educate your mind. Liberation time. For us. Africans are in bondage today because they approach spirituality through religion, provided by foreign invaders and conquerors.
Conquerors.
We must stop confusing religion with spirituality. Religion is a set of rules, regulations, and rituals created by humans, which was supposed to help people grow spiritually. Due to human imperfection, religion has become corrupt, political, divisive, and a tool for power struggle. Spirituality is not theology or ideology. It is simply a way of life, pure and original, and was always given by the Most High, the Most creation. Emancipate. Emancipate your mind. Liberation time. Liberation time. Liberation time. Spirituality is a network linking us to the Most High, the universe, and each other. Together we are one. We are strong. We are one. Once we come together. One perfect love.
One perfect love, says Etana. Says I, what say you? Greetings and love, my family, says Bongo Joe in the chat room. How are you, my brother? Greetings and welcome. And of course, we're still in the period of Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, the African-centered holiday, the cultural holiday that began on the 26th day of December and goes until Sunday, the first day of January. It's from the 26th to the 1st every year. 7 days, and as some people say, 7 ways to give praise. Speaking of the 7 principles of the Nguza Saba. And in respect of Kwanzaa, I'm going to begin this evening, as I did on Tuesday, with the Black Family Pledge. I'm not going to do the libation like I did on Tuesday, but I'll just do the Black Family Pledge, and hopefully you can feel the vibe, and if you know it, you could say it along with me, and if you don't, listen keenly and feel the vibe. It comes to us courtesy of Maya Angelou. And, oops, no, that's not what I have in front of me. I actually have the libation statement in front of me, but that's not what I want to have in front of me. So let me see if I can actually find it, because I know it's somewhere here. How could I? How could I? How could I? And now it's not even showing. Because we have forgotten our ancestors, I know it begins. Our children no longer give us honor. That much I know of the beginning of the Black Family Pledge. And, you know, having used this pledge over the years, whether it's working with youth doing rites of passage, or right here on this platform, I should know it, but I don't. I've not committed it to memory. Maybe I can, maybe it will happen sometime in the future. I'm not even going to say a New Year's resolution, but here it is. Because we have forgotten our ancestors, our children no longer give us honor. Because we have lost the path our ancestors cleared, kneeling in perilous undergrowth, our children cannot find their way. Because we have banished the God of our ancestors, our children cannot pray. Because the long wails of our ancestors have faded beyond our hearing, our children cannot hear us crying. Because we have abandoned our wisdom of mothering and fathering, our befuddled children give birth to children they neither want nor understand. Because we have forgotten how to love, the adversary is within the gates and holds us up to the mirror of the world, shouting, "Regard the loveless." Therefore, we pledge to bind ourselves again to one another, to embrace our lowliest, to keep company with our loneliest, to educate our illiterate, to feed our starving, to clothe our ragged, to do all good things, knowing that we are more than keepers of our brothers and sisters. We are our brothers and sisters. In honor of those who toiled and implored God with golden tongues, and in gratitude to the same God who brought us out of hopeless desolation, we make this pledge. The Black Family Pledge, coming to us courtesy of Maya Angelou. And as I said earlier, I was thinking, it's the end of the year. We're going to kind of party a little bit. Tonight, the black man feeling to party. Well, indeed, tonight, the black man feeling to party. And then I thought about some losses. Some losses. The latest of them came today. The loss of the great Pele. And then, of course, I just sang a little bit, "Tonight the black man feeling to party." Yes, Black Stalin. The loss of the great Black Stalin. And also the loss of the great Thom Bell. They say that death comes in threes. And, on Tuesday evening, we talked about the loss of the young Marley, Joe Mercer Marley. And I began to wonder about losses coming. But then these three, we did speak about Joe Mercer on Tuesday. These three, Black Stalin, Thom Bell, Pele, we're going to devote this evening's program to them. And we're still going to party. We're going to party because they all gave us so much happiness over more than half a century. In the chat room, I want to greet and welcome Brooke Kerner, who says, "Greetings, love, and blessings, Carlisle and family and friends. So glad to be back. I have missed you all and our wonderful, lively discussions. I hope you're going to enjoy and celebrate this beautiful holiday season in whatever way suits our beliefs and your faith. I respect and honor you. I respect and honor you all. Jah love and blessings. Always one love." And the last Bongo Joe is adding of Singing Francine. And I think we spoke about Singing Francine earlier this week, or was it last week? When did we lose Singing Francine? We did pay tribute to her as well. But the three we will pay tribute to this evening, and I want to start with Pele, because he is kind of the odd man out in this case, with the other two being from the entertainment industry, from the music industry, I should say, because they have all been entertaining. Certainly, sports is entertaining, and they've all been entertaining, but they've all been guiding lights in their own way. And so this evening we pay tribute to them, we remember them, and we celebrate their lives. Pele, Brazil's mighty king of the beautiful game, has died. Coming to us from Sao Paulo, Pele, the Brazilian king of soccer, who won a record 3 World Cups and became one of the most commanding sports figures of the last century, died Thursday. Today, he was 82. And we talked about Pele last week, and I felt like the news was not good because he went in for one thing and something else developed, and Pele has been in treatment for colon cancer since last year, and it didn't look good, and now it has happened. It says here the standard bearer of the beautiful game had undergone treatment for colon cancer since 2021. The medical center where he had been hospitalized for the last month said he died of multiple organ failures as a result of the cancer. Pele changed everything. And there's a clip, I wish I had sorted it out. I didn't. But it's a clip that talked about Pele did it first. If you ever see that clip, it's quite amazing, quite amusing, but it talks about all of the things that made Pele the icon that he is. Now, it says Pele changed everything. He transformed football into art, entertainment. Neymar, a fellow Brazilian soccer star, said on Instagram, "Football and Brazil elevated their standing thanks to the king. He is gone, but his magic will endure. Pele is eternal." And those of us who came of age in the 60s or 70s know that Pele was, in that time, larger than life. Now, widely regarded as one of soccer's greatest players, and I might say for some people he is regarded as soccer's greatest player, period. Pele spent nearly 2 decades enchanting fans and dazzling opponents as the game's most prolific scorer with Brazilian club Santos and the Brazil national team. His grace, athleticism, and mesmerizing move transfixed players and fans. He orchestrated a fast, fluid style and revolutionized the sport. A samba-like flair that personified his country's elegance on the field. He carried Brazil to soccer's heights, and became a global ambassador for his sport in a journey that began on the streets of Sao Paulo, where he would kick a sock stuffed with newspaper or rags. In the conversation about soccer's greatest players, only the late Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi, and Cristiano Ronaldo are mentioned alongside Pele. And while I'm doing this, if you would share something about Pele in the chat room, we certainly would acknowledge it and, share that. If you have any knowledge of Pele, what did Pele mean to you coming up? Are you familiar with Pele? were you around when Pele was signed to the New York Cosmos in an effort to introduce and to build interest in football, aka soccer, here in the United States? You might want to say something about any or all of that. Socks. Okay. In the conversation, I did that. Different sources counting different sets, different sets of games, list Pele's goal totals anywhere between 650 league matches and 1,281 all senior matches, some against low-level competition. The player who would be dubbed the King was introduced to the world at 17 at the 1958 World Cup in Sweden, the youngest player ever. The youngest player ever at the youngest player ever at the tournament. He was carried off the field on teammates' shoulders after scoring 2 goals in Brazil's 5-2 victory over the host country in the final, meaning Brazil won the World Cup in 1958 with Pele scoring 2 goals. 17-year-old Pele, I should add, scoring 2 goals to carry Brazil to victory. Injury limited him to just 2 games when Brazil retained the World Cup title in 1962. But Pele was the emblem of his country's World Cup triumph of 1970 in Mexico. He scored in the final and set up Carlos Alberto with a nonchalant pass for the last goal in a 4-1 victory over Italy. The image of Pele in a bright yellow Brazil jersey with the number 10 stamped on the back remains alive with soccer fans everywhere, as does his trademark goal celebration, a leap with a right fist thrust high above his head. And, for those of you who are not familiar with soccer, in basketball and I guess baseball, players wear all kinds of numbers. But in soccer, the number you wear denote your position. So Pele's number 10 denotes one, that he's a forward, he's an inside, and somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong. Number 10 would be the inside left. Positions have, or the way teams are set up have changed so much over the years. Back in the 60s, there was a standard format, 5 forwards, 3 halfbacks, 2 fullbacks. That has changed, from that 5-3-2 format to 4-2-4, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, all kinds of, but those numbers tell you where that player is on the field. If it's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, then those are folk up front. If it's 2 and 3, those are backs. If it's 4, 5, 6, we're dealing with halfbacks. And so you get a sense of what position the player plays, depending on the number they're wearing on their jersey. And Pele, being a forward, inside left, wore the number 10. Pele's fame was such that in 1967, factions of a civil war in Nigeria, that would be the Biafran Civil War, factions of a civil war in Nigeria agreed to a brief ceasefire so he could play an exhibition match in the country. Let me repeat. Pele's fame was such that in 1967, factions of a civil war in Nigeria agreed to a brief ceasefire so that he could play an exhibition match in the country. He was knighted by Britain's Queen Elizabeth II in 1997. When he visited Washington, he helped popularize the game in North America. It was the US president who stuck out his hand first. Quote, "My name is Ronald Reagan. I am the President of the United States of America. But you don't need to introduce yourself because everybody knows who Pele is." The words of Ronald Reagan. Pele was Brazil's first modern black national hero, but rarely spoke about racism in a country where the rich and powerful tend to hail from the white minority. Opposing fans taunted Pele with monkey chants at home and all over the world. He said that he would never play if he had to stop every time he heard those chants, said Angelica Bashthi, one of Pele's biographers. He is key to black people's pride in Brazil, but never wanted to be a flag bearer. Pele's life after soccer took many forms. He was a politician, Brazil's extraordinary minister of sport, a wealthy businessman, and an ambassador for UNESCO and the United Nations. He had roles in movies, soap operas, and even composed songs and recorded CDs of popular Brazilian music. As his health deteriorated, his travels and appearances became less frequent. He was often seen in a wheelchair during his final years and did not attend a ceremony to unveil a statue of him representing Brazil in 1970 World Cup team. Pele spent his 80th birthday isolated with a few family members at a beach home. Born Edson Arantes do Nascimento in the small city of Torres Coes in the interior of Minas Gerais state on October 23, 1940, Pele grew up shining shoes to buy his modest soccer gear. Pele's talent drew attention when he was 11, and a local professional player brought him to Santos youth squad. It didn't take long for him to make it to the senior squad. Despite his youth and 5'8" frame, he scored against grown men with the same ease he displayed against friends back home. He debuted with the Brazilian club at 16 in 1956, and the club quickly gained worldwide recognition. The name Pele comes from his mispronunciation or his mispronouncing the name of a player called Pele. He went on to the 1958 World Cup as a reserve, but became a key player for his country's championship team. His first goal, in which he flicked the ball over the head of a defender, raced around him, to volley it home, was voted one of the best in World Cup history. In the 1966 World Cup in England, won by the host, or let me say that again. The 1966 World Cup in England, won by the host, was a bitter one for Pele, by then already considered the world's top player. Brazil was knocked out in the group stage, and Pele, angry at the rough treatment, swore it was his last World Cup. He changed his mind and was rejuvenated in the 1970 World Cup. In a game against England, he struck a header for a certain score, but the great goalkeeper Gordon Banks flipped the ball over the bar. In an astonishing move, Pele likened the save to the best in World Cup, one of the best in World Cup history, to a salmon climbing up a waterfall. Later, he scored the opening goal in the final against Italy, his last World Cup match. In all, Pele played 114 matches for Brazil, scoring a record 95 goals, including 77 in official matches. Just a little bit about Pele. And, you know, Pele brought joy to so many people all over the world that, of course, you would have to have been around in the 1960s and 70s to really full joy what Pele has meant to football, aka soccer, as it's called here in the United States. But like I said, we talked about Pele's deteriorating condition last week, and I kind of had a feeling it was going to go this way. And here we are, mourning the loss of Pele, or really celebrating the life of Pele. And again, if you have any comments you want to share, please feel free to share them. You know, we had a we had our own Pele in Jamaica. I guess he's acknowledged as perhaps the greatest footballer out of Jamaica. Was a close friend of Bob Marley, very close friend of Bob Marley. Alan Skill Cole. Everybody called him Skill. And long after his professional career, he was here in Brooklyn for a pickup match. And I was, I guess, honored to be playing against him, such that I was the opposing goalkeeper. The match ended 1-1. Alan Cole scored a goal against me, and I was just happy. You know, I would have been upset if it had been anybody else, but to have Alan Cole score against you, it's like, that's okay, man. It's Alan Cole. And Pele suffered a lot of injuries at the height of his playing days because everybody wanted to damage him, quite frankly. I think it mentioned one of the World Cups he played only 2 games because of injuries, but all over the world, players would seek to damage Pele. So he suffered a lot of damage and injuries and hurt, not only by folk calling him monkey, but by players from opposing teams stomping on him and kicking him and fouling him. And you know how unsportsmanlike some people in sports can be. And through it all, Pele dealt with it with a lot of poise and grace and contributed so much, so much, so much to the game. Okay. If you want to, I'm sure there are films that, like I said, there's this clip going around. I don't know if you've seen it, that says Pele did it first, and it kind of shows different moves in football, in soccer, that different players have done. And then there's a clip of Pele doing it. And the commentator says, Pele did it first. Absolutely a great and outstanding athlete. In one of the pieces that I read about it, it said perhaps as only Muhammad Ali was more widely known, or was equally widely known worldwide to Pele. And in fact, I believe, let me see, it might be in the piece I just read that I didn't finish, but Muhammad Ali took part in, well, the final game that Pele played was a game between his Brazilian team, Santos, and the American team he played for, the New York Cosmos. And Pele played the first half with the Cosmos and the second half with Santos. Or was it the other way around? He played one half with one team and the other half with the other team in the final match of his career, which I believe was in New Jersey. That game between Santos and the Cosmos. Let me see if I see that comment about Muhammad Ali. Yeah, among the dignitaries on hand, Pele ended his career on October 1st, 1977, in an exhibition game between Cosmos and Santos. Cosmos being the New York Cosmos that he played with, and Santos being the club he played for in Brazil, before a crowd in New Jersey of nearly 77,000. He played half of the game for each club. Among the dignitaries on hand was perhaps the only other athlete whose renown spanned the globe, Muhammad Ali. And so we lost Ali a few years ago, and now we just today lost the king of the beautiful game, a name which he gave it actually, and it's come to be known as the beautiful game ever since Pele named it the beautiful game. Rest in peace, Brother Nascimento. You know, we had a soccer team in Jamaica named after him, Nascimento. All right, speaking of in Jamaica, we want to turn now to someone who had a outstanding music career. And, you know, I had a clip that I don't have and can't read about his career, but Thom Bell. You may not know about his career, but you certainly know his music. And so what I'd like to ask you to do at this time is to help us remember Thom Bell by his music. Carole King posted a piece, said, "Rest in peace, Thom Bell, who inspired me and future generations of songwriters with the Philly sound." And then she lists a number of songs that I didn't know these were all penned by Thom Bell. But Thom Bell was born in Jamaica. His folk migrated to the United States when he was, I think, about 10 or 11. Was classically trained and, well, decided that he didn't want to be tied to any single studio, and so did work all over the place, but did a lot of his work in Philadelphia with the Philly sound. And here are just some, or here is a list of songs that Thom Bell penned. And in the chat room, Brooke says, may Pele's sweet soul rest peacefully in the divine. Ashe. Thom Bell, 1968. La La means I love you, the Delphonics. 1970. Didn't I? Or didn't I blow your mind this time? Didn't I? The Delphonics. 1971. Hey Love, the Delphonics. 1971. Stop, look, listen to your heart and what it's saying. 1971. You Are Everything, the Stylistics. 72. People Make the World Go Round, the Stylistics. Betcha by Golly, wow, the Stylistics, 1972. I'm Stone in Love with You, the Stylistics, 72. I'll Be Around, the Spinners. Now, I always associated Thom Bell with the Spinners, and I didn't realize that so many of these Stylistics and the Delphonics songs were actually penned by Thom Bell. Where was I? I was up to Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? The Spinners. I'm Doing Fine Now. New York City is the name of that group. One of a Kind Love Affair is the Spinners. Ghetto Child, the Spinners. Break Up to Make Up, the Stylistics. 1973. Rock and Roll, Baby, the Stylistics. You Make Me Feel Brand New, Stylistics, 74. Mighty Love, Part 1, the Spinners. Then Came You. And of course, Thom Bell did this thing with Dionne Warwick. And then, of course, he worked with the Spinners. Then Came You was the Spinners with Dionne Warwick. They Just Can't Stop It. Came to play the Spinners, 75. The Rubber Band Man, 76. Are You Ready for Love? Elton John with the Spinners, 79. Mama Can't Buy You Love, Elton John. Silly, Nisi, Denise Williams. It's Gonna Take a Miracle, Denise Williams. 1990. I Don't Have the Heart, James Ingram. Just some of the songs that Thom Bell penned. And I thought, well, maybe we could just take some time to listen to some of them. If there's a song on that list by Thom Bell, or not on that list, but by Thom Bell, that you might want to hear, how about let me know and I'll see if I can find it. In the meantime, Let's go back to 1968 and the Delphonics. La 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 means I love you. The Delphonics.
Many guys have come to you with a line that wasn't true, and you passed them by. Pass them by. Though you're in the city and their lines don't mean a thing, why don't you let me try? Let me try. Now I don't wear a diamond ring. I don't even know a song to sing. All I know is la 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 la. I love you. Oh, baby, please now. La 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 la. I love you. If I ever saw a girl that I needed in this world, you are the one for me. One for me. Let me hold you in my arms, girl, and thrill you with my charms. I'm sure you will see. You will see. The things I say are true. And the way I explain them to you, listen to me, la 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 la. I love you, oh baby, la 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 la. I love you. The things I am saying are true, and the way I explain them to you, yes to you. Listen to me, la 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 la. I love you. Oh, you have to understand now, la 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 la. I love you. Come on and take my hand. Yeah. La, la, la.
Was having a conversation recently with some music folk and talking about some music and got reminded how back in the day, 60s, early 70s, songs would be less than 3 minutes long. That particular track just now, well, was a long one. You know, that was 3 minutes and a few seconds. But songs were rarely longer than 3 minutes back then. And then came Isaac Hayes. And I remember saying Isaac Hayes did some songs where the introduction, the music introduction, and Isaac was this big arranger, you know, score for Shaft and all of that. But the introduction alone was 3 minutes long. And then he would rap for another 4 or 5 minutes before he finally starts singing. So we had recordings that were, you know, 15, 16, 17 minutes long coming to us from Isaac Hayes. That just kind of blew that tradition away. today we have songs that 4 minutes, 5 minutes. But back in the day, you'd have to look hard to find a song that was 3 minutes long. So much great music, so many memories, and so much love, says Brooke in the chat room. He wrote so many great love songs, and he put a number of great bands on the musical map. He takes you back. Speaking of love songs, here's the Stylistics. Doing You Are Everything.
Today I saw somebody who looked just like you. She walked like you do. I thought it was you. As she turned the corner, I called out your name. I felt so ashamed. It wasn't you. Wasn't you? You are everything, and everything is you. Oh, you are everything, and everything is you. Oh, you are everything, and everything is you. How can I forget when each face that I see brings back memories of being with you? I just can't go on living life as I do, comparing each girl to you. They just want to. They're not you. You are everything, and everything is you. Oh, you are everything, and everything is you. Oh, you are everything, and everything is you.
You are everything, and everything is you. Wow. Lyrics for days. And like Brooke says, he takes you back. Well, let's kind of bring the tempo up a little bit with this one from the Spinners. Because like I said, I really associate Thom Bell a lot with the Spinners. And of course, with the Philly sound, Kenny Gamble, and Leon Huff of the Philly sound tried to have Thom Bell be a part of that. And he did a lot of work with them, but would not make the commitment to be exclusive to them. And so you see him doing the work with Dionne Warwick and whomever else. And with the Spinners, who at the time were on the Atlantic label as opposed to the Philadelphia label. But here's the Spinners. I'm told that Thom Bell actually reached into Jamaica and tried to recruit a very popular singer who is still very popular today, by the way, to replace Felipe Wynne when Felipe left the Spinners, but that was not to be, as that singer did not accept the invitation to become a part of the Singers. And I've always wondered what it would have been for his career and what this would have been for the Spinners' existence if that singer had accepted the invitation to become a part of the Spinners. For Brooke, this music brings tears of joy and a little sadness to my eyes. So many memories of me are associated with music, always the music. Even my dad, who had been a concert pianist and became jazz musician, learned and played the songs on the piano, and we would all sing and dance to them. Interesting comment there from Brooke Kerner about this music which brings tears of joy and sadness. Well, could it be you're falling in love? Let's see what's going on. Oh. Okay.
Since I met you, I've begun to feel so strange. Every time I speak your name, that's funny. You say that you are so helpless too, that you don't know what to do. Each night I pray there will never come a day when you up and take your love away. Say you feel the same way too, and I wonder what it is I feel for you. Could it be I'm falling in love with you, baby? Could it be I'm falling in love? Could it be I'm falling in love with you? I don't need all those things that used to bring me joy. You made me such a happy boy. And honey, you'll always be the only one for me. Meeting you was my destiny. You can be sure I will never let you down. When you need me, I'll be around. And darling, you'll always be the only one for me. Heaven made you specially. Could it be I'm falling in love with you, baby? Could it be I'm falling in love? Could it be I'm falling in love with you? With you? With you? And darling, you'll always be the only one for me. Heaven made you specially. Could it be I'm falling in love with you, baby? Could it be I'm falling in love? I wanna know now, baby. Could it be I'm falling in love with you? With you? With you? I'm walking around with my heart in my hands. Hey, walk this field long as I can. Baby, I used to sing bye, 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 but right now I feel so good. Say la, 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 la. Won't you give me up? Won't let me down. Just let this feeling carry me on.
And Brooke says she's loving strolling down this sweet musical memory lane. Boy, I don't know, maybe you could be a lyricist too, Brooke. You've got some interesting ways of saying stuff. Well, speaking of memory lane, and we're still in 1972, how about this one from the Stylistics, if we could give the spinners a little rest. Betcha by golly. Bet you by golly, wow. And I see that this is taking a lot of folk down memory lane. Marlene McKetty has joined the conversation. She says, reminds me of living in New York. Yeah, that I'm telling you, those early years of the 1970s, all of this great music coming out of Philadelphia, courtesy of Philadelphia Records, the Philly sound. You know, I used to be in a music program at Brooklyn College in the mid 70s, and one of my classmates was Jimmy Ziegler, who was the brother of Buddy Ziegler, who was an arranger at Philadelphia Records. And every Friday, well, Jimmy would never take a class that would keep him in school late on a Friday, because every Friday he'd be on the turnpike heading down to Philadelphia to do some recording stuff in the studios at Philadelphia. It was just such a great and productive time. And speaking of which, I also, by the end of that decade, I was playing with Max Romeo, and we would frequently play at a place in Manhattan called Mikkel's. Come to find out, there is a group called Stuff that would, and Mikkel's was a very small club, but all of these studio musicians would, who from the New York music scene, would hang out at Mikkel's. And Gordon Edwards, the bass player, decided to pull together this group called Stuff. Maybe I'll play something by Stuff before the evening is over. Eric Gale and, well, Eric is now passed, as is the other guitar player, can't think of his name right now. But, you know, yes, I am actually going down that memory lane as well as you, as we speak. But how about some spinners again? Talking about one of a kind love affair. You know, Brooke, maybe, just maybe, you wish might come true. What I wish, she says, could it be I'm falling for love? Well, there still is time.
One of a kind love affair is the kind of love that you read about in a fairy tale. Like the sun that shines on a rainy day, it's a cloud of love. One of a kind love affair is when you're down is up, when you're up is down, but love stays around. And when you know you're right, but you got to make a little sacrifice. You make it for love. Whoa, yeah. I never thought about the day would come when she would leave without goodbye. Yes, sir. She wrote a line or two upon the wall. Said, I'm leaving you, though I love you too. I can't stay with you. And to this very day, I can never say a discouraging word, because I love you. Whoa, yes, Serena. Love a fairy. Can you hear
Doesn't he sound like a preacher? Felipe Wynne, that lead singer? Well, that's exactly what he did when he left the Spinners. He became a preacher. But he was kind of like practicing when he was in the studio doing these songs. That's all I got to say, because he's sure enough sounding like a preacher. I used to play with a group called the Blues Busters, and one of the two members of the Blues Busters reminded me so much of Felipe Wynne. But he was so quiet. Every time I think of Felipe Wynne, I think of that particular artist, Lloyd Campbell. He was very subdued, very reserved. And the other partner, Philip James, oh boy, he was just Mr. Bubbly. But Lloyd had that voice like Felipe. Had the same build and kind of looked like him too. I think of him every time I think of the Spinners. And of course, Felipe Wynne left the Spinners to became a preacher. Sounds so much like he was auditioning back in that song. Here's another one, another side of Thom. Because remember, we are talking about the music of Thom.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known.
I was sick and tired, living in a town filled with narrow minds and hate.
They used to laugh at me, their children called me names. I would run and hide, feeling so ashamed
Just for being born, I was just a boy, punished for a crime that was not mine. Life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. Oh baby, life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. No one tried to understand. I will give the best a man could do.
A child reality is paid for by his folks' fancy fairy tale. All born and sold by those
Who can well afford time to make believe childhood dreams can still come true.
So I've been wondering, traveling all around, guess it ain't my style to live in just one time.
Still I'll never know why a child is blamed, ridiculed and shamed. We're all the same. Life ain't so
Life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. Yes, he didn't just write love songs, but when he wrote the love songs, wow. Brooke says, oh yeah, such a beautiful, powerful, lyrical voice and such beautiful lyrics. This is the kind of music you feel in your heart and soul. These are the kinds of love letters we have all written in our lives at one time or another, or at the very least, thoughts and feelings we have kept close to our breast. You know, there are those of us who rely on these lyricists to express for us the thoughts that we just can't craft in words, although we have the thoughts. And I hear you, Brooke. He had a very special talent. Take, for instance, this 1973 track. I believe it was 73. No, 74. The Stylistics. By then, tracks got a little longer. Almost 5 minutes long in this case. Yeah, Brooke, life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child.
My love, I'll never find the words, my love, to tell you how I feel, my love.
That's when you turn to the Thom lyrics.
Mere words could not explain. Precious love, you held my life within your hands, created everything I am, taught me how to live again.
Only you care when I needed a friend. Believed in me through thick and thin. This song is for you, filled with gratitude and love. God bless you. You make me feel brand new. For God bless me with you. You make me feel brand new. I sing this song 'cause you make me feel brand new.
My love, whenever I was insecure, you built me up and made me sure. You gave my pride back to me. Precious friend, with you I always have a friend. You're someone who I can depend to walk a path that sometimes bends.
Without you, life has no
wow. That's all I can say is wow. But thank goodness I don't have to do all of the saying because there are folk out there listening who have stuff to say. And Brooke says, oh, yeah, such a beautiful, powerful, no, I think I, powerful lyrics. Life ain't so easy when you're a ghetto child. And then Brooke says, the thing about his songs is you know exactly what song it was and who had written it from the very first few notes. Well, I must confess, I don't always know who had written it, but from the very first few notes, I will know what song it was, who sang it, about what period of time, but this brother, he did just so much over a good span of time. You know, the career of a musical artist, and I know he wasn't an artist, but and by the way, we should give acknowledgement to Linda Creed, his writing partner, who did some outstanding work with him. She passed way too early. And of course, if he were here, he would be paying tribute to her as well. But let's take a trip further down in the decades and hear from Elton John, who said, Mama can't buy you
So they give you anything, darling, all the joy money can bring. Baby, do they bring you happiness? Darling, you're no different from the rest. Can't you see that it's love you really need? Take my hand and I'll show you what love to be. Before it's too late, Mama don't want you, Daddy don't want you. Give it up, baby, baby. Mama can't buy you love. Mama don't want you, Daddy don't need you. Give it up, baby, baby. Mama can't buy you love. Fancy friends so you can smile, darling. Rich relations for a while, baby. Oh, I may only give you love, darling. Oh, they're so hard you feel love. All I need is a chance to make you mine. Let me in. Oh, I'll change the way you feel inside. Before it's too late, Mama don't want you, Daddy don't want you. Give it up, baby, baby. Mama can't buy you love. Mama don't want you, Daddy don't need you. Give it up, baby, baby. Mama can't buy you love. Daddy don't want you. Give it up, baby, baby. Well, Mama can't buy you love.
love. You're going to have to fend for yourself when it comes to love. But, you know, his, says Brooks, were the kinds of songs that make the artist and the listener dig deep in their hearts and emotions. But that I can absolutely agree with. You can't hear a Thom Bell track and not dig deep, not tug at and play with your emotions and your heart. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. How about Dionne Warwick and the Spinners? Then Came You. Ah, yeah. Get funky.
Ever since I met you, seems I can't forget you. The thought of you keeps running through the back of my mind. Every time I'm near you, I get that urge to feel you. Just touching you and loving you makes everything right.
Tell me how you feel, baby.
Never you loved before. Then came you. Then came you. I never knew love before. Then came you. Then came you. You. Now that I have found you, how did I live without you?
I don't know, baby.
It's plain to see you're all I need to satisfy me. I'm so darn proud of you. I wanna sing about you.
Sing it, sing it, sing it,
All
baby.
you know, you made love wrong by touching my hand. Oh, I never knew love before. Then came you, then came you. I never knew love before. Then came you, then came you. Hey, then came you.
What you love to
Yeah, there go that preacher in the background doing his preaching thing again. But you know, of course, that was the Spinners along with Dionne Warwick. And we heard from Elton John earlier, and Thom would pair artists, and he also paired the Spinners, his main artist, with Elton John, along with, and this is where the real fat orchestration and arrangement come in, along with MFSB, that group out of the Village Studio, MFSB, mother, father, sister, brother. Yep, that's what it meant, MFSB. Elton John with the Spinners, with MFSB. Are you ready for love? Come on.
Catch a star if you can. Wish for something special. Let it be me. My love is free. Sing a song to yourself. Think of someone listening. One melody. You're up for me. I'll write a symphony just for you and me. If you let me love you, I'll paint a masterpiece just for you to see. If you let me love you, let me love you. Are you ready? Are you ready for love? Yes, I am.
Yes, indeed. Are you ready for love? The music of Thom Bell. Well, if you are ready for love, yes, I am. Are you? Says the lyrics of that one. And I certainly co-sign that. I am. Are you? If you're ready for love, then check out some music by Thom Bell. Anything by Thom Bell. And you'll find love. Let's see, in the chat room, Brooke says, yeah, it just doesn't get better than Dionne Warwick and the Spinners. Love it. Then came you. So many memories with this one. A brilliant collaboration, she says, of the Elton John and the Spinners. Are you ready for love? Yes, I am. So beautiful and strong. Love the crescendo in this song. Brilliant, beautiful instrumentation. Sounds of MFSB. Now, this is music, she said. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely happy to have been able to bring you this music of Thom Bell. Speaking about love as we exit 2022 and move forward to 2023. But I did promise you I would bring you a little bit of stuff. And so, tell me if you agree with me when you look at this. Besides Gordon Edwards, the bass player, you could see that these are not stage musicians, although they are performing here at the Montreux Jazz Festival. But these are studio musicians. They're just deep into the music and not really entertainers, so to speak. Stuff. Live at Montreux, 1976. A little bit of Stevie Wonder, Boogie On, Reggae Woman, as we make the transition from Thom Bell to Black Stalin. Go, Gordon. Richard Thom on keyboards. Eric Dale on guitar. Gadd on drums. Come on, Steve. And as if Steve Gadd is not enough, I once saw Stuff perform at this place. My Father's Place is the name of the venue out in Roslyn, Long Island. And not only did they have Steve, but they also had Chris Parker, another drummer, both drummers performing at the same time with the rest of the band you saw there. Now you just figure out, you heard all of what Steve Gadd was doing just now, but Chris Parker was also there on stage alongside Steve Gadd on that remarkable performance out at My Father's Place back when the band was together. Of course, both guitar players have since transitioned, left us, taken flight to another world. Speaking of transitioning, taking flight to another world, the sad news came that Black Stalin had made his transition to another world. Calypso veteran Leroy Black Stalin Callis has died. Stalin passed away peacefully this morning at his home in San Fernando. He had recently celebrated his 81st birthday in September and was celebrated at an event at Gasparilla. Black Stalin's career spanned over 50 years and included such hits as We Can Make It, Feeling to Party, and Better Days. Back in 2014, Black Stalin suffered a mild stroke. Born and raised on Coffee Street in San Fernando, to George and Elsina Callis, he's one of 4 children. He attended San Fernando Roman Catholic School. He worked as a limber dancer before taking up singing calypso in 1959, when he made his debut at the Good Shepherd Hall in Saint Madeleine, but did not join a calypso tent until 1962, when he joined the Southern Brigade. He was given the nickname Black Stalin by fellow calypsonian Blakey in the mid-1960s. And I'm still trying to find out the motivation for that name. I'm working on it. I'm going to find out. In 1967, Black Stalin joined Kitchener's Calypso Review tent and managed to place in that year's Calypso Monarch competition. Stalin won the Calypso Monarch competition for the first time in 1979 with Caribbean Man and Play One. and went on to win it again in 85, 87, 91, and 95. In 1979, he moved over to the Mighty Shadows, King of the Wizards tent, and recorded his first album, To the Caribbean Man. That year, he walked away with his first Calypso Monarch crown for his two compositions, Caribbean Unity and Play One. In 1985, he won the crown again with Ism Schism and Wait Dorothy, and again in 87 with a tribute to steel band entertainer, with a tribute to steel band entitled Mr. Panmaker and Burn Them. A song called for St. Peter to cast the likes of Christopher Columbus, Cecil Rhodes, Margaret Thatcher, and Ronald Reagan into hell. In 1987, he was also awarded the Hummingbird Medal Silver for his contribution to Trinidad and Tobago culture. Veteran living legends in music, Roy Cape. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. This is a photo piece that Roy Cape, I actually intend to speak with Roy Cape about himself as well as Stalin at some point. But Roy Cape is someone I actually worked with in Hugh Hendricks and the Buccaneers back in the early 70s. But let's see, there was a picture of Cape and Stalin at his 77th birthday. Now, in 1971, the usually dread and critical Stalin took a winning turn and walked away with a Calypso Monarch crown again with Look on the Bright Side and Black Man Feeling to Party. You know, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there and switch over to a tribute that is entitled From the Heart. And it really scripts the rest of the program for this evening. It's by Mia Mottley, the Prime Minister of Barbados. And she says, anyone who knows anything about me knows that I love music. It is key to all that I do. The truth is, one of those early artists who centered me and gave me context and perspective was Black Stalin. He had a way of drilling down always to the core. His message always rooted in truth, justice, and solidarity. Black Stalin was one of our region's finest masters of calypso. Both his lyrics and his melodies expertly captured the rhythm and vibe and voice of the Caribbean. He was acutely conscious of our shared history, culture, passion, and concern, and expressed them in his song in a way we never could ourselves. Talking about Thom Bell expressing sentiments we couldn't express. Well, get a load of Stalin is all I can say. In the true tradition of calypso, Stalin was also a griot, chronicling the issues and philosophies impacting our daily lives. No more so was it evident than in the iconic Caribbean anthem that remains our holy grail of the Caribbean civilization. Who else has more poignantly reminded us that we are one people on the same trip, coming on the same ship? I think he actually talks about the same grip, pushing one common intention for a better life for we women and we children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean man. Even more so as we get ready to celebrate 50 years of CARICOM in 2023. Let's stop and listen to some music of Black Stalin. She just talked about Caribbean man, called it the Caribbean anthem. Here's Stalin doing it for us.
With the West Indian politicians, I mean you went to big institutions, and how come you can't unite them millions? When a West Indian unity, I know it's very easy. If you go to Iraq and tell them like we them is one race, from the same place, that make the same trip, on the same ship. So we must push one common intention, it's for a better life in the region, for the woman and we children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean, the Caribbean, the Caribbean. They say that the Federation was imported white from England, and you're going and form a character with a true West Indian flavor. But it's dancing, running, morning, noon and night, all I hear is just money, speech, get prime ministers giving. But I say no check of money, vote for my unity. First of all, your people need their identity to be one race, from the same place, that make the same trip, on the same ship. So we must push one common intention, for a better life in the region, for we woman, and we children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean, the Caribbean, and the Caribbean. CARICOM is wasting time, the whole Caribbean gone blind. If you don't know from where you're coming, then you can't plan where you're going. That's why some want to be communist, rather some want to be socialist, and one set of religion to add to the foolishness. Look, a man who don't know his history can't form no unity. Tell me how could a man who don't know his roots form his own ideology? One race, from the same place, that make the same trip, on the same ship. So we must put one common intention, for a better life in the region, for we woman, and we children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean, the Caribbean, the Caribbean. Federation done dead, and Caribs are going to bed. How come the cult of the Rastafarian is spreading through the Caribbean? They have Rastas now in Grenada, they have Rastas now in St. Lucia, but to run Caribs, yet them getting pressure. If the Rastafari movement spreading and Caribs are dying slow, then it's something them Rastas on that the politicians don't know. Look, it's one race from the same place that make the same trip on the same ship. So they pushing one common intention, for a better life in the region, for the woman, and their children. That must be the ambition of the Caribbean.
That must be the ambition of the Caribbean man. And you know, I think you know some of you might know by now that Mayor Amor Motley is, for me, the Thom Bell of Caribbean politics, or the Pele of Caribbean politics. And when she talks about music being, you know, a guiding light for her, you know, I love her even more. She goes on to say that not to be limited to the Caribbean region, Black Stalin emboldened those of us fighting the consequences of colonialism and the horror of apartheid with his exhortation to Peter to burn them. This is a powerful reminder of the exploitation and the oppression of Black people by whoever and wherever. Yes, his intention was achieved to empower us with a resolve to keep fighting the battle for justice. Black Stalin, burn them.
Hey man, what kind of big set is this man? Nothing coming back. Put something in them monitors and them man, come on. Hey, this set too expensive for this man. What's to the monitors? Bring it up. Bring it up. Fire. 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 Fire, 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 ay, one fire, Jano, fire, Jano, fire, Jano, fire, Jano, fire, Jano, fire, Jano, but give me a walk with Peter. Because some sinners coming, with them I go be dealing. Because the things that they do me, I'm going to fix them personally. Peter looks at the road by the gate. Bunny. Peter look the Englishman, we sent at the road to Africa land. Bunny. Peter take break, take rally, but leave Victoria for me. Bunny. Peter can just don't care what you say, but Mussolini, he can't get away. Why?
My time for money. Peter, give me fire,
This is my time for money.
Peter, give me fire,
Come with it. from these mad man and woman. I feel the full weight of the hand. They made the oppressed law. They never care about the poor. Peter this big, look at the day. Well, now it's time for talent to play. Peter wait, Peter lucky on slick by the gate.
Bunny,
Peter got to want you to make fuss wherever I want with the bump.
bunny, bunny,
After Peter, look the woman who was South Africa refused to put that down.
bunny, bunny,
Peter can just look at what you do like Reagan.
bunny, bunny.
Why?
Time for bunny.
Bunny, nana, bunny, nana, bunny, nana, bunny, nana, bunny,
We
nana,
don't
bunny.
need the fireplace.
Come with the fire.
It's my time for bunny. We don't need the fireplace.
Peter, don't grudge me. Your hands done full already. You don't deal with the Führer. Now go ahead and take Foster. But Thomas Mary, remember that's my baby. So much back and all that she made. You got to get Black Stalin a break. Peter wait, I said Peter wait. Peter look both and reach by the gate.
Bunny, bunny,
With both hands, I don't want you to waste time. Remember we still have more than behind.
bunny, bunny,
Got to Peter, look at the woman who sent foreign troops in Africa land.
bunny, bunny,
Peter can just look at what you say, but the Ku Klux Klan.
bun them, bun them.
Why?
It's my time for bunny. We don't need the fireplace. It's my time for bunny. We don't need the fireplace.
Come with it. This is my time for bunny. Peter, keep the fire blazing. Alright, you want a taste, you want a taste. This is my time for bunny. Peter, keep the fire blazing. Come with it, come. For bunny, Peter, keep the fire blazing. This is my time for bunny. Peter, keep the fire. Come with the music, come with the music. One time. Take it out.
Oh yes, And if you can't stand the heat, you need to stay out of the kitchen because Stalin ain't playing no joke. It's my time for burning. And fire, I go burn. Yes, such a timeless, historic sound. The instrumentation, the melody, the lyrics, and the unique voice, all of it, says Brooke. Such a great, poignant, and powerful song. This music carries an important message. Still, I need to get back to listening to more of him. We've all done our share of dancing to his music. I'm so glad you said that, and I guess that Mia Amor Motley has been listening to him, is what she's saying here, because beyond the dancing, the message in the music. She says Black Stalin's songs were really about nation building, a task to which he was committed, a task to which he was as committed as any Caribbean leader. Yes, he reminded us early on that Dorothy and the tales of jamming her would have to take second place to his concern as to where the oil money went. Now, there is a man who had his priorities straight, okay? That man definitely had his priorities straight. I wonder if I can find something. Oh, here we go. Black Stalin talking about Dorothy. Listen again to the lyrics of this one, because as she says, yes, he reminded us early on that Dorothy and the tales of jamming her would have to take second place to his concerns as to where the oil money went. And listen to the story he tells about the song. Very interesting.
Chorus work for us. We call them the review angels. Give them a round of applause. Listen. You know it's my biggest problem. My biggest problem is my fans and them. Last year they come knocking down my door. Black Stalin. I said, well, what happened? They said, listen this. You know all them other singers sit down and write a little now and then. You mean you can't write one for we? I said, all right. I'm going to write this one for them. I sit down. I take up my pen and I take up my paper. I start to write my smart. I play the thing. Play. My fans beg for a favor. I decide to help them. So I write this soca. Last year they come back with a different story. They say they want something smutty about Gino Dorothy. Now all my fans know you feel pen. So I sit down to write this much only to please them. But as I take up my pen and my piece of paper, and I write out the first. Listen what I remember. Oil money come, oil money go. Poor people remain on the pavement and ghetto. When Mr. Divider start to divide the bread equally, I'm going to finish the whole dance. I look so about how I jam she, how she jam me, how we back, bread and we roll back. But once my people keep fighting for equal share of the cake, wait for it. I take up the challenge, just to prove to the lot. I decide to show them I could write a smart about this Dorothy woman who come down to the island and we have been watching when we come out the steel band. Look, I've done higher to girls to put on some something. Was to come on stage and show Dorothy whining. But it's a wrong thing I'm doing. So when I rise up the first note, suppose Jaja punish me with a stroke in me one throat. Because the Ku Klux Klan office still Alabama, and in Brixton, England, my people still under pressure. Anytime I see, and that sounds down, brings and free. I'm going and feel hold down, one fight, people fighting with so much like this. Passing to London and short to hear it. They don't cause calypso. Music, wrong music. They say all entertainer. Today using the culture to help the people plan a better future. In this world today of nuclear revolution, the calypso man still singing Roman. But I just making sure that when they run in their mouth, it's them Stalin's music that they talking about. Because them politicians still can't come up with a federation. So much people the whole in Caribbean people still suffering. Anytime I see a true West Indian unity, yes, I'm going to finish hold down Calypso, but once my people suffering with so much life there. For Chorus is too much lyrics. Don't sit down and write in this moment of crisis. My head says yes, but my heart says no. And I don't follow my heart when it comes to write the time so. Now to all my fine folks, I'm very sorry. But my pleasure is always second to my duty. And my duty to make sure that my people live happy. And anytime that happen, we go down. Because so much of famine in Ethiopia, assassination, I say going on in here. Anytime I don't have to live with them frightful things around me, yes, I'm going and finish. Hold down, Calypso, oh my cha-cha-cha, I'll be back. But once my people suffering for an equal share,
Wait, Dorothy, wait. First things first. This is a man who have his priorities straight. And clearly in the song he talk about is his song the politicians going to listen to. And clearly Mayor Amor Motley has been listening to his songs. And, you know, I love his energy. I love his self-assuredness, his poise, and of course, the message in his music. And yes, I agree with you, Brooke, and I will be playing more of his music on my programs as well. He has so much to say. We need to hear what Black Stalin has to say. But perhaps his most far-reaching song, says the Prime Minister, was yet another anthem, that of the black man. After centuries of dehumanization of the black man and the black woman, Black Stalin validated the importance and dignity of the black man after all his hard work and struggles to be able just to fit with his woman. The night the black man feeling to party, the night the black man feeling to time,
Stop on horse walk you. Tonight we going out and have some fun. After feeling so party, the way we used to when we was young. Just put on something sexy, so you'll be free to move around. Make your children okay. We ain't coming home until morning come. What a tell you why? Why? Tonight the black man just feels so boogie woogie. Come on, hold on to you. And let me do a little. Leave your worries by the doorstep, but that's not like we have no time. We go do it and do. Tonight we come out here in line. We go do a little soca. We go do a little fry. We go do a little back. And show them youngsters how to why. Why? Tonight the black man just feels so. Come on, hold on to your man. Let me do a little. Remember when we was before we had a family? Anyway, so don't even talk to me here what we since we start having children to make them strong, we give dance up. So tonight, love you. We turn it back the hands of the clock. All you tell me why? Ring back time. Come on, hold on to your man. Now let me do a little. doing fine. I just simply have to tell them, you're the driving force behind. You're the one that gives me courage. You're the one that has me great. So from that tonight, brother, love you. We come out here to celebrate. Sing it for me. I ain't there, you what? Tonight the black man that feels so boogie-woogie. Come on, hold on. And let me do a little.
Woo! Tonight the black man feeling to party. And in the chat room, Brooke says of Dorothy, a story with a message and a moral. He's a great storyteller. And she says, yes, I agree with you, Caroline. I love his energy, his style, his message, his stage presence, and absolutely his dignity and the grace. He has always been such a source of inspiration, hope, and the power of unity and love. I cannot say enough about this remarkable man. I absolutely and totally agree. And Mayor Amor Martley says, yes, he saw us all. Our Black Stalin reminded us of the real concern of sufferers, not to be wallowing in bigotry, nor to be used to the background, not to be used as a background for many others in their cause, but in being singularly concerned as to where the next meal is coming from. Never forget it. Yes, indeed, Black Stalin talking about sufferers.
That's one for all them racists. That's one for the racists. Anytime you bump up a racist and you hear them running them out, it has a whole set of people don't care what they're talking about. A racist is someone living happy and all their family doing well. So race talk is really not for people. It make us so hell. Now tell the racist sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from God. Sufferers only want to hear we them food from them song. Get up early next morning, go down in the tent yard. You see so much different race, so much different people line up with the idea. All visit my village called Alfaro, where there is no walls up for years. So much different race, so much different color. We with a bucket sit up, shedding tears. Now tell the racists, sufferers don't care about us. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who live in who please. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from France. Sufferers only want to hear what we have to America. President General Hospital, and I know that you would be shocked to see so much different race of people line up waiting on one doctor. Or pay a visit to the 8th ward, waiting and find no cure as yet. People don't know the race, yeah, remember the color. All they know is that the feeling is set. Now tell the racists, sufferers don't care about what? Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrates from where or who lives in who plays. What? Sufferers don't care who from country. What? Sufferers don't care who from France. Sufferers only want to hear we need to America. I raise this is someone who has something that they want to protect. So they will always keep on talking the rainbow till the day of the death. But for people, we have nothing. Don't know where the next meal coming from. So I want to go and to tell all the racists, suffering really doesn't want. Tell the racists, sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care about race. No, sufferers don't care who migrates from where or who lives in who plays. Tell the racists, sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from France. Sufferers only want to hear what we need to America. Sufferers don't care about us. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrates from where or who lives in who plays. Tell the racists, sufferers don't care who from country. They don't care who from town. Sufferers don't care who from town. Sufferers only want to go. We need love you, America. Love you, love you. Sufferers don't care about race. Who migrate from where or who live in Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from town.
Ah, yes. Seeing him on stage made me cry, says Brooke. You feel the joy, the passion, and the heart. It makes me very sad to think that he's gone. But thankfully, His music and his spirit remains. We have lost so many good souls lately. It's so important that we all remember how very precious life is and how important it is to stand up, speak out, and do the work. Well, Mayor Amor Motley says, we give thanks for the life, work, and passion of Leroy Callis, who at one time, who at the time of our Caribbean nation building, remind us that we can make it if we try. I was unapologetic in using its power of inspiration. A song without boundaries and sovereignty, a tribute simply to the human spirit. This was one of the key songs that I chose during the COVID-19 pandemic to use on the highways and byways across Barbados as we work to encourage our people to stay the course and keep our heads above water. Why? Because we can make it if we try.
So the shells are broke and they say that recession's jamming. So to foreign countries, Trini start migrating. They lose faith in the country, they say we gone down the drain. They say no more could we see happy times again. But the will to recover in my people, I have confidence. Although many may seem to feel that I talking nonsense, but the majority of we decide we're not going to run, because now is the time to show we patriotism. For we country faces is that is our, so our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just get one more try, life would be much sweeter. Just what was the problem? Yes, we start making very positive move to solve them. We fired the old set of managers we had working, and it's a new group we went and we bring in. And if the goods we require, them new managers not supplying. When election time come back wrong, it's new ones we bring in. But if it's one thing about my people, I could guarantee that they would never ever put party before country. And if the country faces is dark, is sour, and our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, you have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just give one more try, treasury was full and happy time some was enjoying. It's in Mova and Lavanti poor people was living. Now the treasury flat and the country come back to square one. Poor people remain on the same old ghetto in John. But to get the economy return today on some footing. It's the same poor people 10 days and cola they're taking. And without social unrest, poor people paying the price. Because they know for the country nothing too much to sacrifice. And if the country facing its darkest hour, so our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, give up one little thing that I want you all to remember. Could make it if we try just a little harder. If we just get one more try, I'd be much sweeter. Anytime that we hear Trinbago is facing a crisis, as loyal citizens it's our duty to stay and assist. But we know to ourselves there could never become a day we're not there to.
Okay, not sure what exactly happened there, but we're kind of running the clock out as we speak. But in the chat room, Brooke says, "Thank you, Carlisle, for this wonderful show. I'm so glad not to have missed it. I wish there was a way that I could share it. I really think it's one that everyone should see and experience. It's been such a beautiful tribute to three deserving, influential, wonderful, beautiful souls, which will be missed, but leave behind a legacy that should continue to inspire and comfort us all, smiles and tears." Well, I'm pleased to tell you, Brooke, that with us doing this on our website, it is being archived and it will be posted in the next day or two on the Coalition to Preserve Reggae Music YouTube channel. So I will certainly make the link available to you then so you could share it. And thanks for those kind words. Appreciate it. Mayor Amor Motley says, "We urged as he would, as we all knew, that if we simply try and work together, better days are coming. We in the Caribbean have lost one of our greatest nation builders. Each word of his, each sentence of his, carefully crafted by a maestro to tell our story of the Caribbean and our people, our story. May we work hard to keep his music alive across the Caribbean with each succeeding generation. May his work inspire others as it has me in my life's journey. Mea Amor." You know, coming from one of the Caribbean's greatest leaders, what a tribute to Black Stalin, and very fitting. And so as we bring this year of programming to a close, thanks to Marlene, who says, "Great program." And you know what? I tell you what, tonight, this black man feeling to party because I've had a great year with all of y'all. Appreciate you, love you. would love to see you join us again next year, and let's keep it going. Black Stalin just kind of left me inspired, and I hope you too. And hopefully you will help us build the audience next year and just keep it getting even better. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa, the rest of it. Happy holidays. Peace and love. Catch you next year.
Stop on Hall Smoke you. Tonight we going and have some fun. After feeling so bad, the way we used to when we was young. Just put on something sexy, so you be free to move around. Make sure the children okay. We ain't coming home until morning come. Wanna tell me why? Why? Tonight the black man just feel some boogie woogie. Come on, hold on to you. And let me do a little. Leave your worries by we doorstep, but that's not like we have no time. We go do it and do. Tonight we come out here tonight. We go do a little soca. We go do a little fry. We go do a little back. And show them youngsters how to ride. Why? Tonight the black man just feels so. Come on, hold on to your mind. Let me do a little. Remember when we was before we had this family? Anyway, to you. Two people thought to be there what we. Since we start having children, to make them from we give dance up. So tonight, let's love you. We turn it back the hands of the clock. All you tell me why? Ring back time. Come on, hold on to your mind and let me do a little. You're the one that gives me courage. You're the one that has me great. So for that tonight, me dark. Love you, we come out here to celebrate. Sing it for me.
Tonight you got my feeling started.
I ain't hear you what?
Tonight you got my feeling to jump, 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 jump.
Tonight you got my that feels so wooey wooey. Come on, hold on. I let me do a little. Balam, 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 balam. Balam, 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 balam. Lam, balam, 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 balam. Lam, balam, 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 balam.
Try to keep us down, scatter us all around to diverse parts of the earth, hoping we'll waste away. But no matter what they do, no matter what they say, all I got to children got to Harambe, Harambe. Hear what I say, Harambe. Hear what I say, Harambe. What color is the rainbow? Check it next time it shows. It's the way we should be, all together in harmony. We're sailing in the same boat, we're rocking up the same street. So no matter what they do, no matter what they say, all our Georgia children are Harambe, Harambe. Hear what I say, Harambe. Hear what I say, Can I let one change its spots? Jaja children dress kiss. God say blood thicker than water. Love will take us further. So don't you feel no way? As I saw Jaja say, and no matter what they do, no matter what they say, all our Jaja children are to Harambe, Harambe.
I came here to say a few things. But the chorus that we've had from this stage has been clear. I don't need to repeat that we have the power of choice. Every speaker on this platform has done that. I don't need to repeat that this is the cop that needs action. All of us as a chorus have said that. I don't need to repeat the horror and the devastation wreaked upon this earth over the course of the last 12 months since we met in Glasgow. Whether the apocalyptic floods in Pakistan, or the heat waves from Europe to China, or indeed in the last few days in my own region, the devastation caused in Belize by Tropical Storm Lisa, or the torrential floods a few days ago in St. Lucia. We don't need to repeat it, because the picture spoke 1,000 words earlier. But what we do need to do is to understand why we are not moving any further. We have the collective capacity to transform. We're in the country that built pyramids. We know what it is to remove slavery from our civilization. We know what it is to be able to find a vaccine within 2 years when a pandemic hits us. We know what it is to put a man on the moon, and now we put in rover on Mars. We know what it is. But the simple political will that is necessary, not just to come here and make promises, but to deliver on them, and to make a definable difference in the lives of the people who we have a responsibility to serve, seems still